So recently opened a hotel. Is the concept a kind of concept hotel? I can tell it.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw this. And before in the interview, the last interview, you told us about the LLoyd Hotel and Love Hotel, and especially Love Hotel was a very particular project in Tokyo, and every room is different. Of course, LLoyd Hotel is every room is different too. But this case, I have the impression that you developed the experience of Love Hotel in Tokyo in a stable hotel. Can you explain about how the idea of this making this hotel as a kind of a person's body, and you want to wear every room with different fabrics and objects?
Well, I think this building, it's a 17th century building and two 17th century buildings. It's right in the heart of Amsterdam. Actually, it's the entrance to the city. So when you come from the station, you walk over a street that the city likes to call the red carpet. And we were thinking of starting another hotel. And the city said, well, maybe you are interested in this location. And actually everybody was very surprised that we like this location, but we find it very alive and sort of extreme. It's the oldest historical part of the Amsterdam, but it's also a little bit like, let's say, in between Shinjuku and Shibuya and Roppongi. So there's a kind of edge.
Too much commercial.
Too much commercial.
And touristic place, right?
Very touristic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, millions of people walking here all the time. So Otto, my companion, and I went here, and we were standing here, like, where are we? What kind of a place is this hotel? And Otto said to me, well, look, this is not a red carpet, this is more a catwalk, because all the time you see people from everywhere, any kind of age, any kind of, from the province town in the Netherlands, or from Japan, or from, could be anywhere. And thinking about that, we remembered that the red light district here in Amsterdam, it's getting an extra layer since some years. And the layer is that you will have a window for a prostitute, and next to it you will have a window for a fashion designer. So suddenly there's coming this fashion into this neighborhood. So having both these images of a catwalk and fashion, we made the plan to see each room in this building as a model. It's a little bit strange, of course, because a model can move and a room is standing still. But nevertheless, we thought we see them as a model, and all the accessoires in the room, I mean all the chairs and all the other things in the room, we see them as the accessoires. Now, thinking of a concept like that and how to realize it, we remembered working together with Amfi, which is the Amsterdam Fashion Institute, and working together with them on a fashion show with an Indian fashion designer. And we had seen that school particularly is very professional in their work from concept till a final product. So we went to them and we said, we'd like to work with 8 of your students on this project. So together with them we selected 5 students and 3 alumni. And we said to them, and this went all very fast because we chose them, and because they were in their academical year, they had to start their practice. So we said, use the empty hotel, where still the beds were standing in, as your sketchbook. So what happened is the student designer started to use all the materials that were still in the building, and started to make their first sketches for their idea of dressing the rooms as models. And this became a whole very interesting process. We had a small atelier just some houses further on. We invited professional fashion designers to give them workshops to sort of change the size, because it's really a different size than a human body to dress up a whole space. And most important is that almost all of them started to develop their own textile. Some textile meant there was this kind of stuk, like concrete, with what a pleated room was made. But sometimes it meant that we started working with the Textile Museum in Tilburg, who are using old traditions but give a lot of space to designers to really develop a new idea. So with them we almost produced more than 700 meters of new textile for our rooms. And I think that whole process that is in fact what is interesting for us.
Mm-hmm.
It is, yes, it's fantastic to have finally a hotel, but what is also fantastic is that we have been working for 1.5 years with all these students who I can say now are truly designers. We all getting a new vision on what a hotel is, what a space is, what cloth actually is.
So it's everything start from this hotel, then you produce even also textile.
Yes.
And
yes.
you formed also the student to the professional designer.
Yes.
And then you made also the whole new concept of hotel.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Sort
this is
of.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all, we never start thinking like we want to start a new concept. It's much more that you come to a space and you think, what can we do with this space? What is inspiring us? Why do we want to be on this location? Because it's very alive. It's really a 24-hour neighborhood, which all its contradictions. And one of the things I really like is that this hotel, the third building, underneath has a shawarma. The shawarma has been here for 18 years. It's a Moroccan owner who came here first generation with his family to start another life. And I think that's really part of this neighborhood. It's really, so on the one hand, yes, I like things to be a little bit less commercial than they are here. On the other hand, I also like to respect and understand why people like a street like this. Because what you see is that many of the tourists also are shy and they have never traveled, or they come into this big city, even people from the small towns in Holland. So when they see a French fry store, they understand it, you know, it's not something strange, no, they understand it. So I like to play with that, and I think working here for 1.5 years, also with all the other how do you say it, people who have their shops and their restaurants here, has been very interesting and brought us back to another part of what is going on in Amsterdam.
That's why you also opened 2 shops in the Grand Foire, which is hotel.
Yes, I think that was a funny, quick choice, which was much more complicated than I could have ever thought. When we started underneath, there was an Argentinian steak restaurant and a pizzeria.
Which is typical of it.
Very typical
of Amsterdam.
And of the street, I think there are about 5 Argentinian restaurants. So we said we want to have one restaurant, breakfast all day, because I really hate to stay in a hotel and then wake up late and have to lunch immediately. I like to
usually
breakfast.
close at 10 o'clock.
Yes. I like to start at 12 maybe and have my very good soft-boiled egg.
Yeah.
And the other thing was that in this street there's many souvenir shops. So somehow we thought, well, it's actually nice to start a shop. So that's as simple as that we started. And then you have to choose which space is going to be the restaurant and which space is going to be the shop. It was actually quite, well, let's make this the shop, which turned out to be quite a big space. And then we thought, but who's going to do the shop? Because it's so much work to do the hotel already and the restaurant. So then we remembered that together with Floriane Eshuis, she had implemented inside design in the LLoyd Hotel. It's a kind of presentation of designers yearly. And we had worked together very nicely with her. And then we said, oh, well, would you like to be our shop director? And it turned out that she had books, because she had been thinking about a shop for a long time. Mm-hmm. So together with her and Inamat, the designers for both the restaurant, the public spaces in the hotel and the shop, we developed this options idea for a shop. And in the shop you will always find a connection to the student designers who worked in this hotel. We will sell materials from them, objects, furniture.
Which you produced through the Express. Yeah.
Yes. And at the same time we will always have this connection with this Amphi, with their school, because we like it to show young, well, not only talent, but also, you know, what is going on in that field in a certain age level. And at the other hand, we will show nice pics, as Florian says, from all over the world. Like, well, something I'm very proud of. Florian produced the table of Joe Nagasaka, the Japanese architect with whom I did the Love Hotel in Daikayama in Tokyo. And this is, I'm sure, the largest table in the world. It's 4 meters by 2.5, I think. Beautifully made
huge,
from 5 old tables. You should see it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think so. It's good.
Good?
Yeah, it's concise and it's good. Thank you.